Like many people in this country, I have been looking at the Pete Hegseth nomination to be the new Secretary of Defense, wondering to myself, why is Donald Trump standing by this guy? Why is he doubling and tripling down on this particular nomination when reports have already said you've got a perfectly good guy down here in Florida, not that he's a good guy by any stretch, Ron DeSantis, that you could nominate for this position, sail through an easy confirmation, boom, bang, done. Why are you sticking with Hegseth? Well, according to New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman, the woman who has been labeled the Trump whisperer for her ability to, get Trump insiders and even Trump himself at times to just open up about everything. According to conversations that she has had with people in Trump's orbit, the reason that Donald Trump is sticking with Hegseth and not replacing him with Ron DeSantis, as reports had suggested, is because there is not a single person, not one, she says, inside Trump's orbit, his allies, his donors, his cabinet picks, none of them were okay with the idea of putting Ron DeSantis in that position. Here's what Haberman said in a recent interview on CNN that aired this past Friday. Anderson Cooper asked, you reporting a while back that President-elect Trump had grown tired of hearing all the negative stories about him and was poised to move on, but what's changed his mind about Hegseth? And Haberman said, I think it's still true that he was tired and is tired of negative stories, and what changed was a couple of things. One was Trump could not find a single person in his orbit, or even really outside of it, who liked this idea of making Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, the defense secretary choice. And it was not, we're going to drop Hegseth and we're going to look for a bunch of other people. It was Hegseth or DeSantis at that point. And so Trump was persuaded after a call from Pete Hegseth to let Hegseth go out and see if he could fight his way past some of these stories. And he also, for the record, let's not forget, had his mommy call members of the Senate to tell him what a special little boy he was. So Trump was like, okay, if it's not going to be Hegseth, what about DeSantis? And his whole orbit was like, hell no. We would rather go with this guy that's got more skeletons in his closet than a Spirit Halloween store than Ron DeSantis. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, look, I despise Ron DeSantis. His policies are absolutely horrific. As a human being, I think he fails on every single level. He is a disgusting, disturbing little man who wears high-heeled shoes. But in terms of, is he a better nominee than Pete Hegseth? Yes, because as bad as Ron DeSantis is, he does not have those skeletons. Trust me, if Ron DeSantis had any kind of really horrible, scandalous thing, we would have talked about it over the years, right? It would have been uncovered. But as horrible as he is on policies, he's not, I don't want to say not corrupt, but kind of like not a criminal, obviously. So not saying Hegseth is, but you know what I mean? Like there's no real, like, this is going to destroy Ron DeSantis stories out there. Hegseth, on the other hand, those stories do exist. So DeSantis could set himself up to be the heir apparent to the MAGA movement by becoming Secretary of Defense and serving there for 4 years, because he only has 2 more years as governor, which means if he wants to run for president again in 2028, he will be 2 years removed from any public office. Becoming Secretary of Defense gives him more time in the limelight. It allows him to bolster his resume and would set him up in a better position to run for president in 2028. And again, I don't think members in the Senate are going to vote against the guy. You'd probably even have Democrats voting for him. All signs point to DeSantis being the better pick. But because Donald Trump's orbit of weirdos and freaks said, hell no, we don't want him, he was mean to you during the primaries, Trump's like, all right, I'll stick with the really horrible guy and let the chips fall where they may. So, it's bold strategy. We'll see how it plays out in a couple of months. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. We got fresh content every day for you. And if you want to follow us across social media, make sure you check out all of the social links that we have posted in the description of this video.